Hello, everybody. This is the Chocolate News Podcast. I'm your co-host, John Alexander Reese.
And I'm your co-host, Andrea Carter.
And if you did not know, the Cincinnati Herald has been around since 1955 and is the leading African American owned newspaper in the greater Cincinnati area and northern Kentucky area. How's it going, Andrea?
It's going great. I'm just having a good week. I mean, the neighborhood summit was fantastic. It was a lot of people came, a lot of people didn't come because there was so much going on that this past Saturday. Because you had the 5K walk of mini walks, you had a number of neighborhood cleanups going on, you had the NAACP lunch going on, the A. Philip Randolph conference was going on, there was a gun violence conference going on as well. It was just a lot going on in the city of Cincinnati. A lot of colleges were having picture day at UC. Plus, they
Mm,
had a lacrosse game going on. I was on UC's campus. The only reason why I know this. And but overall, it's been a great week. I went to the Ohio Crime Prevention Association's conference that was held in Columbus, well, Dublin, Ohio. And it was very informative. And if you don't know about the Ohio Crime Prevention Association, you should take a look at it, especially if you're a community partner working on crime prevention. You should take a look and join the organization because you can learn a lot, be informed. A lot of things are going on. They have a number of different trainings. And youth violence was the key issue this year at that conference. And since I do a lot of work, my day job besides doing the podcast, this is the work that we're getting involved with, and problem solving using different scenarios or problem solving tools to sort of um, try to prevent violence, especially whether it's gun violence or any type of violence whatsoever or a crime. A lot of tactics are out there, a lot of mental health, a lot of other stuff going on. So it's been a very busy week, I have to say,
yeah.
and it's not over yet, but at least I am back from Dublin here back in Cincy and watching what's going on and looking forward to this weekend. I have a colleague who's getting married. The Center for Closing the Health Gaps health fair is going on. It happens annually the last week in April. For everyone who has a health issue or wants health information or wants a quick checkup to make sure that your high blood pressure is in check or you want to check your A1C number, I would head on down to Washington Park on Saturday and take advantage of this free event. Then also, just a quick culture note, Sheku is coming to perform with the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra on Friday and Saturday. If you don't know who Sheku is, I can't pronounce his full name because I can't do it and I'm going to butcher it, but I know Sheku. He is the young man who did the cello solo during Harry and Meghan's wedding. He has released his first album. He's performing all over the world. He will be in Cincinnati on Friday, April 26th and Saturday, April 27th. But also, if you don't have time to go down to Music Hall to see him, the tickets are very cheap. If not, go on out to New Prospect Baptist Church at 1:30. He is doing a community performance. So I will be there. The members of the Multicultural Awareness Council will be present as well in support. This is the last performance of the Max series. So it's going to be an exciting week of activity. So I'm looking forward to this weekend, besides celebrating with my colleague Chris on his impending marriage. So it's we're very happy for him. But that's what's going on with me. So, but I know you're really interested in the chocolate news of today.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I really am. So let's get into it. What is the chocolate news of the week?
well, I would say that the most, actually, this just occurred a couple of hours ago. Biden signed the bill. Well, he signed the foreign aid bill, and snuck in that bill was the ban on TikTok. And it's Republicans of Congress is putting the pressure on the US to find a new owner for this app because they're concerned about China gathering information through this app. which, for national security concerns, it's understandable. But, do you know how many apps that are out there collecting information because women shop that are from China? I understand about TikTok, and young people, but there's a lot more than just this one app that's collecting information from America regarding our citizens. So I think that they are a sort of blindsided. They're blindsiding American citizens who like to use TikTok. It's a great place to watch videos, short terms, especially the pet animal videos. They're really, really cute. And I think they're doing a disservice to free speech with this. I understand the concerns about international ownership, but there are other apps that are internationally owned that's collecting data. So if they're going to do this one, they got to do everything. But that's me. Anyway,
Well,
so
if I can interject just for a minute, I don't want to go full conspiracy theory, but I'm gonna talk about it because in the mainstream news, sometimes we don't hear all the sides of the story. With TikTok, people are getting, all sides of the story. And I just want to point out, like with the Israeli Palestine conflict right now, people are seeing the Palestinian side, and a lot of the I'm sorry, mainstream news wasn't really covering the Palestinian side, and TikTok was a big part of that, just showing what it's like for the Palestinians, just seeing what's happening up close.
oh
And
yeah.
I think that's making some people a little nervous. You know, I won't get too far into it, but you get to see, different, different sides of the story from TikTok. So, that's why I think it's so important about TikTok. Besides the, funny videos and I enjoy me a little TikTok every once in a while. I don't use it too much, but it's important for, just people on the street, people on the ground, the little person,
Oh yeah, definitely. I
someone
mean,
someone who doesn't really have like, anywhere to get news out and stuff. It's important for that. So that's just that's why I don't think TikTok should be banned at all.
well, I mean, I really truly I don't think so either. And on top of it, did you know there's a TikTok store? I didn't even know there was a store
Oh, I didn't know
on
there was a
there.
store. Oh, okay.
My sister told me about it because she says it's addictive to go on that store on that part of TikTok. I was like, only you, but she's a shopper like my mother was, and my father. I did not get. I can shop, but I don't shop like they do.
Gotcha.
Uh, they're into the hunt, looking for that deal. Me, I'm in other words, like I go what I need, go get it, move on. But I can find a sale when I want to. Let's just be clear. My mother
Gotcha.
trained me well. So, but um I like TikTok. I mean it, but I just don't have an account on TikTok. But anyway, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. The We'll see how the US is gonna handle this. And I know they raised concerns back in 2020 about it. But again, like TikTok, there are other entities collecting information as well. I think TikTok is just the most visible, used by men and women, where some of the shopping apps are used more by women than men. So I think it's just, we just have to be careful when we start banning stuff like this, the potential. So
Hmm.
there's that. And on top of that, when you mentioned Palestine, I just want to mention this. There is a protest going on today at the University of Texas on their Austin campus, where the students are protesting in support of the Palestinians. So that is going on compared to the protest that was going on in Columbia, where they wanted to oust the Jewish students, which I think is wrong.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, really, we're seeing interesting happens on college campuses, and again, free speech. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch how this all plays out, and how college campuses are either going to change how they allow students to protest, or they're going to continue to allow students to protest, but make sure it doesn't turn into negative action. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's that. Um, Interesting thing, which I'm very, very excited about, and I hope if there was a way to watch this, I want to see the show but this year for the class of 2024 for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Mary J. Blige and a Tribe Called Quest are going to be entered into the Rock and
Yes.
Roll Hall of Fame, which I'm like, I am such a Mary J. Blige fan. I am so excited and so happy for her. The She is the R&B queen, and Tribe Called Quest is the hip hop legends.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be joining also Cool in the Gang, Cher. I thought Cher was already in there.
Yeah, me too.
Foreigner. Ooh, Foreigner too. Dave Matthews Band, Peter Frampton. Oh my God, Peter Frampton and his hair. And Ozzy Osbourne. Oh my God, Ozzy Osbourne. You know, I just have to stop and take a minute. I have such an eclectic taste. Every one of these bands has had a hit song that I have played over the years. Peter Frampton, I was rewatching, what was I rewatching a couple weeks ago? Secretary of State, the TV show. And the main character, is a Peter Frampton fan.
Oh,
Yes. And Peter Frampton used to live here in Cincinnati.
really?
He was married to a woman who was from Cincinnati until they got a divorce. Then he moved back to wherever he moved back to. So, but he did live here out in the burbs in Cincinnati. He was out I think he was out either Westchester or Mason, if I remember correctly, somewhere out there, so to speak. But he was on the edge of the Cincinnati area. It's a very diverse, eclectic group of inductees that's going to happen. I can't wait to see the results of the show, their induction show for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's always so good.
Yeah.
Um,
It's actually going to be on Disney Plus, and it's going
really
to
not.
be on ABC, and then it's going to be on Hulu too. So it's all within the Disney empire.
I wonder if it's gonna be live on Disney because I have Disney.
It says it's going to be live on Disney Plus. That's what they said.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. That's I'm gonna have to watch this. And it's unfortunately though the induction ceremony isn't scheduled until October, so that means I'm
Right.
gonna have to put this on my calendar. Darn it! But anyway, maybe no, I'm not gonna do that. That's too much. But anyway, so congratulations to all of the inductees. Looking forward to the show. And I know we'll be talking about this again when it gets close to the air date in October.
Oh yeah.
So, so next up is a little piece of history. It always amazes me when we get a first still in the 21st century, there's still firsts. Um, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, City Councilwoman Sharon Tucker has become the first Black mayor of that town.
That's
Um,
great.
isn't that great?
Yeah.
Um, Fort Wayne is the Indiana's second largest city in the state. And she is basically she is completing the remainder of Mayor Tom Henry's term, who died in March. And that's how she became the first Black mayor. She's the first Black mayor, but the second woman to hold the position. She was selected during the Democratic caucus, and she won on the second round of voting, not the first round, that's interesting. And she had to meet the requirement of 50% of the vote plus one. And I think she's being sworn in actually this week um, to the position, and she will be there for a while. And then it's going to be interesting to see if she runs for the position. Um, oh, well, actually, Henry's term um, doesn't end until December 31st, 2027. So she's going to be in for a minute. Unfortunately, the former mayor, he was 72. It's so sad. He died of stomach cancer.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and it's kind of sad that he won he ran and won the position, but then, his health took a turn for the worse, and here we go. So it's gonna be interesting to see what she does in Fort Wayne. Congratulations, Miss Tucker.
Mm.
So another historical first is, the Coast Guard is always doing something, they have promoted their first Black female admiral. Okay. Number one, Black people are in the Coast Guard. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, and it's always interesting to see who's making history. And she's the first Black female admiral in its 233-year history, which is interesting. The
Yeah.
fact that they're 233 years old and she's the first Black female admiral, that says a lot right there.
Well, it's about time.
Yes, it's about time. It's U.S. Coast Guard Captain Zeta Merchant. She's been named admiral. I don't know if she's a 4-star or just a. I don't. Every military unit has a different system of, like, you make admiral, then you have 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, what have you, or is that general? I don't remember. But
I
anyway,
actually do not know.
I don't know. Um, but she joined the Coast Guard with the intention of financing her medical school education. She said she always had a passion for service, but she never thought it would be in the form of military service. And she really feels this is God's plan and not my plan. She told that to the Clarion Ledger newspaper in Jackson, Mississippi. The Coast Guard is committed to diversity to make sure that Black sailors who serve along their white counterparts have the same advantages as everyone does in the service. And I think it's fantastic because, some people say Black people don't swim, Black people don't do this, where in fact we do a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and I think it's just, I admire when women do well in, quote, a man system, so to speak. It just shows that we got the guts, the glory, and the education to do this. So I think it's fantastic. Congratulations to Admiral Tucker, and hopefully we'll be hearing more about her as well. Also, a little piece of history. Biden is about to make history again, the first, signing the ban on TikTok, besides signing the foreign aid package. But on May 19th, he is going to deliver the commencement address to Morehouse College, which I think is fantastic. But this is going to be his second HBU's college commencement speech in a row. Last year, he spoke before Howard. This year, he's speaking before Morehouse, which I think is fantastic. Morehouse is kind of like the Black version of Harvard, or is that Howard?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said I'm trying to remember. Is it Howard or Morehouse is the Black version of Harvard in terms of
Oh,
esteem? I think it's
I wanna say Howard,
I think it's
I
Howard
think.
because Howard is the oldest or one of the oldest colleges, Black colleges around.
Yeah.
I hate it when I can't remember my history. It's bad because we're always promoting Black history and then you can't remember half of it.
Well, you know
Um,
what? I think it is Howard University because actually I have several family members who went to Howard. But yeah, I believe it is Howard University.
okay. Well, Morehouse is the all male college HBCU, and they have a lot of leaders, a lot of art entertainers have come out of Morehouse. The Morehouse commitment speech will come after. Well, no, it will. I take that back. I'm doing this wrong. Morehouse, he will speak first at Morehouse on May 19th. Then on May 25th, he's going to speak before West Point. So I think that's fantastic. He's going to, speaking a group of students, and then he's doing West Point, which is, I think, is always an honor for the military to hear from our top commander. And I think that's fantastic. So congratulations to Morehouse.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and some folks will probably be there to hear the speech, and on top of it, to remind some people Martin Luther King attended Morehouse, and actually the current Senator Raphael Warnock is also a Morehouse man. So I
Oh.
think
Oh
I
yeah,
think
he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
isn't Lionel Richie a Morehouse man too? I think is
Is
he?
he?
No,
Possibly?
no, it's not more. No, he is. He's a different HBCU, but he is at HB. He did go to HBCU.
Did he? Okay. I did not
Yeah,
know
he
that.
did. It's Spike Lee is a Morehouse man.
Yeah, I know Spike Lee is. Yeah, definitely know that.
Spike Lee is Morehouse, and so everyone's very excited. The president's going to be there. I think it's a huge honor when you have either the president, the vice president speaking at your commencement. I remember my commencement at Central State University when I graduated in 1988. I'm telling you my age. Then we had George Bush, Daddy, as I call him, Daddy Bush. At that time, he was vice president and he was running for president, and he spoke at Central State. He was my commencement speaker, and it was pretty good. It wasn't too hot in the audit in the gym where they held
Okay.
the graduation. But it was a very unique speech, and we were on CNN and everything. Thought it was so cool. So,
Oh,
and
okay.
that was the early days of CNN too when that occurred. So,
Gotcha.
but anyway, it's that time of year again, isn't it? So, local history. I don't know. A lot of people don't know or never heard of Joel McCrae. Now, Joe McCrae, he was a community leader and an educator. His full name was William Joe McCrae, and he was a huge leader in the arts world. And he died I believe he died back in 2020. And he was 97 years old. He lived
Hmm.
a long time. I got to know Mr. McCrae a lot. He was a lovely person. And he always he was very witty, very smart, but he was very astute as well. And he lived on Erkerbrecher Avenue in Avondale for 50 years. And in honor of his community and Erkerbrecher and everything, Children's Hospital has created a park in honor of Joe McCrae. And that park is, if you turn onto Erkenbrecher off of Vine Street, and you go past the zoo and you go into that first turn, that first curve on Erkenbrecher, the park sits in that curve near Children's Hospital. And they're going to dedicate this park on June 1st. You can drive past it now and see it. It's only 1.5 acres. It's kind of tiny, but very soothing, very you can sit there and enjoy. You're going to be looking at a building, but overall, it's a very beautiful park. And I know I'm going to be informing the Multicultural Awareness Council members about this dedication on June 1st. It's going to be at 3 p.m. And we will be there to honor one of our former members and a leader in the arts world, especially in the Black arts world, in terms of community art leaders. Joe McCrae was a role model that we all should live by. He was fantastic, and it's going to be great to see him honored. Congratulations. A quick update on a couple things. One, the Reds beat the Phillies 7 game streak, stopped them in the tracks, so they won their game the other night. Congratulations, the Reds. So
Yeah.
they're not in the toilet, but they're not top either. But they're holding their own. They're doing very very well. So fantastic about that. Also, we when we were recording last week, we this had just occurred. The Toronto Raptors' Jonte Porter has been banned from the NBA due to his betting.
Oh
Um,
no.
yes, what it's kind of sad when you hear people bet. And I don't. He unfortunately he bet a lot and affected his um his membership in the league, the NBA. And unfortunately, I don't know how big of an issue or what he bet on that got to this level, but he is he's been banned from the sport. He cannot play in the NBA.
That's a shame.
It is a shame because he has a wonderful talent, but they noticed that someone brought it to their attention that there was some irregular betting going on over or under the Reserve Center statistics regarding the Raptor games, and they found that they had been betting on the games, which is kind of sad. So, and I don't think they have anything against betting. You just can't do it and affect your performance, and that's what was happening. So we haven't heard something like this occur since Pete Rose,
Yeah.
who's still fighting his ban, and he's been banned forever.
Hmm.
So um you just don't bet on sports. Well, don't bet on sports if you're playing it. I would say
Exactly.
if you bet on anything else but what you're playing in, you won't get your hand wrapped, or you won't get, it won't be this bad. But it must have been extreme what he was doing for them to say no. So I just want to bring that up. And for all our sports enthusiasts and even our young athletes, don't do what he did. Because if you want a long career in the sports arena, don't do this. And I forgot what was the nickname. Tales, last but not least, Tales from the Courtroom. It's kind of like up there with As the World Turns, the soap opera sagas, Tales from the Courtroom. Well, the first of Donald Trump's criminal trials has begun. And, there have been talk about him falling asleep, him, there's a gassy situation with him in the courtroom. I feel sorry for those people sitting in that courtroom. Ooh.
Hmm.
I mean, it's there's the gag order hearing. He keeps violating that. It's just interesting what is happening in the courtroom day to day to day. There was a gag order trial hearing yesterday because he has violated the gag order, I think, what, at least 10 times.
Yeah.
And the prosecution is saying, fine him, 10 fines. He potentially could have gone to jail. And I don't think they're going to try to do that yet. But the judge has held off making a decision regarding the hearing, though the big thing that came out of it is that the judge told Trump's attorney that he's losing credibility with the court. And that ain't good.
Yeah.
So, and then, Trump, because he's upset that he can't be out on the campaign trail because he has, by state law, you must be present for your trial. He doesn't like the fact that he can't go and do anything other than after the court hearing each day. There's been a lot of embellishment by him regarding what's happening around the case, in the case. There's been a lot of people watching what he's doing, what he's looking at. And I think what's really telling is right now on the stand is Mr. Pecker, who was the former publisher of the National Enquirer, who was part of the scheme to buy stories and not publish them so that Trump, could hold these people hostage and help Trump's election. And, a lot of people thought this was going to be a very weak case and a hard case. But what, as everyone is starting to see and learn, that this case is the roadmap for all the other cases that are pending against Donald Trump in terms of election interference. This was the first road of election interference of all the other trials that he has done. This was the beginning. And he's trying to claim that, paying, legal people, his attorney was different and all this type of stuff. But people are slowly finding out because the DA's office has been very good about keeping certain things close to the vest, how good this case really is. And it's getting incredible. But as some people realize, this is the playbook that Donald Trump, the road that he went on for the 2016 campaign, and then what he's trying to do to maintain to stay in office with the 2020 election. So it's going to be interesting to see who goes on trial, how they're going to defend it, whether or not he's going to stay awake in court or watch whoever. Though when Pecker was on the stand, he was not looking at Pecker. He was just sitting there listening to him. But when they mentioned Karen McDougal, one of the two people that he had an alleged affair with, they said his eyes perked up and he realized that, uh-oh, they have something. And remember, Stormy Daniels was the porn star that he paid off first. Karen McDougal was the second woman they paid off. And Karen McDougal broke it off with Donald Trump because she started dating this guy named Bruce, who happened to be Bruce Willis.
Hmm.
So it's getting juicy.
Oh
And this is
yeah.
only what, the sixth day, fifth day
Yeah.
of the trial.
Something
It's
like
it
that.
Yeah, I mean, and they're still in the first witness, and it's already getting juicy. And Donald Trump also, that they're saying, is because Donald Trump has never been held accountable and he cannot control the narrative or his actions. He tried to get up and walk out of the courtroom one time, and basically the judge said, "Sit down. You're not going anywhere until we're done." And then another time, when they were doing jury selection, he took a phone call at the beginning of court, and the attorney had to tell him, "Put your phone away." So it's getting interesting. And I think the more and more he hears what's going on and the evidence, he's either going to pop, not pop, or the more he's going to claim it's all lies. And he's going to deny, deny, deny. And unfortunately, you can't deny everything. And that is all the chocolate news for today.
All right. Well, thank you, Andrea. And folks, that's it for today's show. I want to thank Andrea again for all the good chocolate news. Thanks, Andrea.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'm always out looking out for some juicy stories. So we'll see what happens next week.
All right. And you can also find more information about today's topics and past podcast episodes at www.cincinnatiherald.com, the Stash newsletter, or on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Threads. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Our podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Amazon, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. In addition, I want to wish all of our Jewish listeners happy Passover. And I
Oh,
believe,
yes.
yeah, I believe Passover started on Monday, and I think it ends this week, I think. So just happy Passover.
I've been seeing a lot of good recipes coming up, including matzah pizza,
Really?
matzah pizza, matzah lasagna. And I was like, ooh.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna have to go look that up,
Yeah.
because
I haven't had any like because the school I used to go to, they had like they had quite a few Jewish kids in it, and they used to make some Jewish food recipes and stuff. So
oh, I love
I,
matzo ball soup.
yeah, I do remember liking that. I might have to try that again sometime.
Yeah, in fact, I make a faux version of matzo ball soup. You can get they sell the mix from matzo balls,
Hmm.
and I would always say make it, cook it in boiling water, and then chicken broth. Just put it in chicken broth, because basically matzo ball soup is chicken broth, carrots, some celery, some other vegetables, and then you put the matzo ball in and season it to taste. I just avoid the carrots and stuff, and I just use chicken broth with matzo balls and be done with it. So, but there are other. I have a cookbook for other recipes. So there are some great dishes that have been produced. Because they have the leavened bread, they can't eat pork,
Yeah.
some other things, and they have some good recipes. So especially the corned beef sandwich recipes. Oh my God,
Mm.
yes. So,
Okay.
but happy Passover to everyone. I hope you have a good holiday, and look forward to next week.
All right. Well, I'm John Alexander Reese,
And I'm Andrea Carter.
and have a good day.